You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Well, guys, the WNBA has been around for how long? 30 years, right? And in 30 years, the WNBA, to our knowledge, hasn't made a profit. I believe they mentioned something along the lines like last year they finally actually made a profit. But remember, this league is actually supplemented by the NBA. Without the NBA, this league would not exist. And for the most part, during the 30-year tenure of the WNBA, the players have given fans in the media no reason to actually talk about their game. They had a money ticket. Caitlin Clark came in out of Iowa, and she took the WNBA by storm. She actually brought in new fans, people that would otherwise not watch the WNBA. Remember, guys, in college, she was actually a force. Her games in college, women's basketball, was actually beating out NBA games. That is the kind of force that Caitlin Clark is. But WNBA players have not embraced her. There's been a whole bunch of jealousy, folks. A whole bunch. And she's been taking a beating on the court. We know that. The WNBA is comprised of a bunch of activists. And for the most part, that's all the media, the woke sports media, has been talking about. Activism. Do you guys know that there's still WNBA teams that actually refuse to get on the court during the national anthem? Yeah, I didn't know that. I text Rose about it. I was like, because it was a bit story like a few months ago. And he told me, because, you know, he actually covers the WNBA on Black and White Sports too. He told me, yeah, that's not a story. It's still been going on. It's been going on for years. That just tells you how little attention I actually paid to this league, because there's nothing to actually pay attention to. It is an activist league. And now you actually got coaches, you know, pushing for transgenderism in sports. Yeah. So the media, they don't actually talk about basketball when it comes to the WNBA. Now, we know that ESPN actually has a deal with the WNBA, but we know how ESPN is. It's an activist network, even though it's actually trying to clean up its act. Guys, remember a few years back, in, 2023, if I'm not mistaken, March of 2023, Women's History Month, ESPN decided to honor a man during Women's History Month, Will Thomas, going by the name of Leah Thomas. That told you everything you needed to know about ESPN. That is who the WNBA is actually in bed with. Now, Sophie Cunningham, she is really, in my opinion, the most popular WNBA player off the court. She's been everywhere. She's gave her a stance on men and women's sports. She doesn't like it. But now this little clip we're actually going to go over, guys. She's going to come out and slam the WNBA media for not talking about basketball. Yeah. But like I said, the media, woke, they care more about activism than the actual game. Virtue signaling. That's all WNBA is for. That's all it's for. So let's go ahead and dive into this clip, guys. Here we go. Right over here on X, Front Office Sports. Sophie Cunningham, the WNBA media, all we ever do is cover everything except basketball. What are we doing? Yeah, so this clip right here, let's go ahead and listen in to Sophie Cunningham. Here we go.
I think that there's so much good going on in the WNBA. I think that basketball is being played at the highest level it's ever been. I think our team in specific, we are breaking history right now with the amount of points that we're scoring on back-to-back games. I think the Minnesota game, there's just so much distraction. I think the WNBA media, all we ever do is cover everything except basketball. and it's like, what are we doing? There's so much, like, you can talk about other things. I think those are great stories. I think it shows fans, who people are outside of the court. But I also think we got to keep the main thing. And I think when it comes to the Minnesota game, I think there's so much distraction. But, like, the matchup between Miles and Kelsey was phenomenal. Our team, that game in particular was a great game. And so I think that there's a lot to be said, and I'm going to let people just do the speaking for themselves. But for me, I want to get back to basketball. It's always been about basketball. That interview happened in February when I was asked a question. And so for me, I just want to, make sure that it stays, the focus stays where it should, because people are playing at such a high level. We have probably like 3 MVPs that could be MVPs on our team specifically. And so that's why I want to do that. No, I was asked a question, and that's simply what it was. I just wasn't making a statement to make a statement. And so I was trying to clear the air, and I did that back in February. And so it is what it is. And like I said, we're in the middle of season. I'm going to keep it that. We talk about a bunch of distraction. Our team is good. My teammates are good. Our locker room is great. And so now we're just here about to prepare for Las Vegas, and that's where our mind is at.
Yeah, so you guys heard that right there. All the WNBA media does is cover everything except sports, the game of basketball. Well, if the players weren't professional victims, then maybe the media would actually cover sports. But also, let's be real, man. Watching a WNBA game, because I've seen some before, is brutal to watch. It really is. Rhodes, of course, he covers a lot of WNBA on the Black and White Sports 2 channel. It's hard watching some of these women miss like every shot they put up. It's got to be brutal, man. It's got to be brutal. Now, Rose has really been covering WNBA because Caitlin Clark is very, very popular on the court. Yeah, she's a great basketball player. But there's way too many activists in the WNBA. Because let's just say, guys, that the WNBA media, they actually went out there and asked hard basketball questions to some of these players. And what if the player actually gets triggered? You already know what the player's going to say. There's a bunch of woke activists. They're going to scream sexism and racism if they get asked a tough question. This is a professional victimhood league, folks. That's all it is. So I get where Sophie Cunningham is actually coming from. Yeah, they cover everything except basketball because look at the league. It's full of activists. It's full of professional victims. And yes, their ratings have been up over the years, but that's mainly because of Caitlin Clark. And we saw when she doesn't play, the ratings go down. That's just the fact right there. But what do you guys make of this? What do you guys make of Sophie Cunningham coming out and slamming the WNBA media for not covering basketball? Everything except basketball. I get where she's coming from. But hey, this is an activist league. Sophie Cunningham may not be an activist, but there's a whole bunch of other players, guys, that are activists. And when you're an actual activist and you actually ask a tough question from the sports media, those players are going to scream victimhood. They're going to scream racism and sexism or homophobia, because a lot of these players are part of the alphabet mafia. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.